I could not be more excited that football season is back, but there's a lot that happens behind the scenes that we aren't always privy to, but my next guest knows a lot about. Darlene Johnson, welcome to the Sami Cohn Show.
Hi, Sami. It's so good to see you.
I'm so glad you're here, Darlene. You've been a coach's wife for most of your life. Before we get started, do I even dare ask who your favorite team is, or should we just not even go there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, I have two favorite teams. I grew up with the New York Giants as my favorite team. I had no choice. My dad was a New York Giant fan, and so therefore everyone in the house is a New York Giant fan. But because of our long tenure in Nashville, Tennessee, I am still very, very partial to the Tennessee Titans.
Well, we love hearing that. You also are president of NJCO. You're on the board of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and we're the first African-American female president. Is that right?
Well, first African-American female chair of the trustee board. Yes.
Yes. So you've seen things kind of as a wife, you've seen things on the other side. What do we not know about what it takes to be a player or a coach at that level?
Wow. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of determination. It takes a lot of belief in your gifts and your talents, because it's a business, especially since it's so in your face on TV and those sorts of things, that you really need to be confident in what you do.
Yeah. Do you think, obviously you can't speak for the league as a whole, either, from the college or the NFL, but is there something that you think that either you, from your personal experience, wish that we as spectators knew, or that maybe your husband would say, like, I wish people just knew this, or would give us a little grace on this? Is there something, this is your moment to share?
Well, I think my husband would tell you one of the things that's so important for players and coaches and what they go through is to learn how to deal with that last play. So whether the last play is a good one or a bad one, learning how to deal with that and move on. You have to remain present in real time. So I would say that's one. And the second, I would say learning how to handle the boo birds. It's not always easy. They're human beings, coaches and players, and when the boo birds come out, it can be very difficult.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that everyone is a human, right? We're all people, and I'm so glad you share that too. I mean, the Olympics just ended, and one thing I kept hearing athletes say over and over again is that it's a long game, but you've got to have a very short-term memory. If you make a mistake in practice, you've got to forget about it and move on. Have you been able to put that into practice even with your own family? And you have two adult daughters now. What was that like, kind of seeing that happen on the field and then bringing that back into your home?
Sami, exactly. I had to, raising two young ladies who are now in their 30s. I had told them from a very young age, what Daddy does is very public, and therefore we're not going to allow ourselves as a family to get too high with the wins, and therefore we're not going to allow ourselves to get so low when we're losing, and we're going to just stay even, and we're going to keep trusting the process.
I love that. Well, I know that faith has really sustained you through a lot of that. Can you give us some examples of how that's really kind of played throughout your life, both at home, but now how you encourage other athletes, especially young athletes, in their faith?
Well, for me and for our household, faith is foundational. And that has absolutely been a growing process from the moment Craig and I first got married to where we are now, married 36 years. We're thankful that God actually used football to grow our faith because of the ups and the downs of football, the challenges that go along with it. You are either trusting that God has placed you where he has placed you, or you don't. You trust that where you are, there's a purpose in it for you to grow, for you to have impact in your community. Without my faith, for sure, it would have been much more difficult, I would say, moving from place to place. It's so important. It had become so important to me to change my mindset and recognize that with each move, it was an opportunity God was giving us to get involved in a new community with a new team and allow the influence of our faith connect with those that we would connect with in the community.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. We just have a couple seconds left. You've had so many good nuggets. Any last words of wisdom for our audience today before I let you go and we watch this football season unravel?
Wow, I cannot wait for football season to start. And I would just say there's three things that I really would say are takeaways for me from the football life. And it's looking at, how important teamwork is, how important sacrifice is, how important hard work is. And God taught me those things from football and showed me how to really apply those things in my own personal life, and then I would say even in our family.
Yeah, that's incredible, Darlene. Thank you so much for joining us and for sharing today, and it's been a pleasure getting to connect with you.
Thanks, Sami. Enjoyed being on the show.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.